Wait to see if that gives an advantage to either side. As the umpire raises the ball aloft, and we are ready to go in VFLW action. It's Lexi Hamilton winning the hit out for the Swans. Goes towards Kirkwood for Casey. She can't quite pick it up cleanly. Hamilton followed up her ruck work. Casey's kick out wide. Olivia Morris chasing. Here's Hamilton getting involved again. Hurley. Big chance for the Swans here. They've got some space. Eliza Vale will take Sydney inside 50. Couple of targets there. Malloy was one. Went over the back to Bella Smith. Here's Giselle Davies following up. Got the hand pass away. Chance for Gardner. Nice tackle led by McDonald, but she got the hand pass over the top to Cynthia Hamilton, who's got the Swans first. Very quick goal from the Sydney Swans. They had a hot start last week against North Melbourne and a hot start again here. Cynthia Hamilton has her first. She had 3 goals last week in that big win over North Melbourne. 21 AFLW games to her name. And a strong start for the Swans at Blacktown International Sportspark. 3 changes for the Swans today. Ella Heads, Ruby Sargent Wilson and Alana Woodward all in. Lara Hassiger, Imogen Brown and Holly Cooper out. That's three AFLW listed in. 1 AFLW listed out. So we go back to the centre again. This time Casey doing the good work through Gillard. She couldn't quite get a disposal away though. Ham to Sergeant Wilson and back to Ham. A little bit of a run from Ham. Perhaps could have had a bounce. Instead went for a kick in the direction of Chloe Malloy. She does well, Chloe Malloy, as she always does. Kick inside 50 looking for Davies. Gets out the back. Casey do it well to mop it up. Johnson. Rigoni. Wide looking for Gall. Kept in play nicely. Morris is there for Casey. Hand pass for McDonald. Johnson couldn't quite pick it up and the Swans forced the turnover. Inside 50 they go. The kick is smothered and Gillard gets the clearing kick for Casey. Neve O'Neill with the mark in the centre of the ground and a chance for Casey to go on the counter-attack. A long kick to the direction of space. McCarthy just couldn't quite pick up Mitchell's hand pass. And then perhaps that was holding the ball. The umpire allowed play on. Must have got a hand pass. McCarthy tapped forward to Ham. Kick across, putting it into the path of a teammate in Vale. It's a nice tackle laid by Vale on Kirkwood, who had no prior, and the umpire will ball it up. And Montana Ham with plenty of touches early. 21 disposals last week and 5 goals and 20 disposals the week before, so she's been in good touch. The former number 1 draft pick Montana Hammers will have a repeat stoppage. 3 changes also for Casey. Sammy Johnson, Gemma Bree and Siobhan Sheeran in this week. 3 AFLW listed players out as Vale's kick goes forwards over the head of the leading Smith. Here's Malloy. Tapped to keep it in front of her, but that's a very nice tackle laid by Fairchild. Nice bump from Beraldson. Davies, and the ball out of play for a boundary throw-in. The 3 Casey players coming in, rather, all Melbourne AFLW listed. Alyssa Bannon, Sarah Lampard and Riley Wotherspoon are the outs. Have won their last 2 games, Casey. Beating Port Melbourne last week and a win in the final minute against North Melbourne the week before. Andrew throwing inside the Swans forward 50. Whelan just got a kick on it. It won't be nearly 15. Well, dangerous hand pass in defensive 50. Rigoni gives it back to Delaney Madigan. Kick managed to clear defensive 50. Olivia Morris is there for Casey. Gardner sees it across the line and will have a boundary throw-in. Olivia Morris involved early. She's a Sydney sider from the Westbrook Bulldogs in the leafy northwest of Sydney. Former Sydney Swans Academy member. Playing for the Allies in the under-18s last year. Now got an opportunity with the Casey Demons in the VFLW. Gillard's hit out. Morris is in pursuit. So too Hurley for the Swans. And now they'll go inside 50. Well, in fact, they won't. Heads' kick is smothered. Still, they have another chance through Hillier. A rushed kick. Malloy is there. Nice hand pass for Cynthia Hamilton to get the second, her second and the Swans' second. Might have run a touch too far, but it'll count. Cynthia Hamilton's got 2 and the Swans have got 2. So great stuff for Cynthia Hamilton. She's playing in the forward 50 so far, giving others a run in the centre square. Molloy too spending most of her time thus far in the forward 50. And Casey coming in off 2 wins after losing their first 2. They beat Port Melbourne by 23 points last week and then a dramatic win the week before. In the final minute, Jo Lynn kicking a goal for them to beat North Melbourne. So it's 2 wins, 2 losses so far this year for them. Gardner wins the clearance. Kicking into the direction of Beraldson. Johnson's there to apply defensive pressure. Rigoni did nicely but couldn't finish it off. Kennedy's hand pass for Ham. Lexi Hamilton. Kennedy again. Inside 50 now for the Swans to the lead of Davies. That's a nice mark from Giselle Davies. Of course, joins the Swans, traded from the Gold Coast Suns in the off-season. 6 AFLW games to her name for the Suns. For the Swans, 3rd. That's a great kick from Giselle Davies. The Swans have got 3 goals early on in the first quarter here at Blacktown International Sportspark. And Giselle Davies, one of the new faces that are AFLW listed for the Swans. So for Swans fans watching at home, an early look at who might be playing for the AFLW later this season. Giselle Davies is one of them, traded from the Suns. Kiara Hillier, another, the number 3, traded from Brisbane in the off-season, yet to make her AFLW debut. And then Sarah Grundon, also out there, the number 16. She was drafted with pick 16 in the 2023 draft. A couple of new faces out there that are AFLW listed for Melbourne, playing for Casey. Lily Johnson, traded from Port Adelaide. Delaney Madigan and Gemma Rigoni from the draft. Here's McDonald's. Kennedy. Umpire will ball it up and we'll have another stoppage. Hamilton just did away with Gillards, but couldn't find a teammate. Johnson. Kick inside 50. O'Neill looking for it for Casey. Sheeran. Hand pass back for O'Neill. Beat a couple of tacklers. Lynn. Into the path of McDonald. Chance now for Casey. To the top of the goal square they go. Nice defensive work done by Montana Ham. She's been everywhere in this first quarter. To the defensive goal square to do some work there. And a good kick for Laura Gardner. Gardner, such a prolific winner of the football. Davies. Really nice defensive work done there by Madigan. And then a good tackle laid by Hillier. Now the ball up just next to the boundary line. And Hamilton thumps it back into the field of play. Burns kick inside 50. Sheeran collected it. Got rid of one tackler. Here's Johnson. Taken in a nice tackle. We'll have a ball up. Sammy Johnson there for Casey, doing some good work. And McCarthy in pursuit for the Swans. Soccers it forward. She'll go again, McCarthy. Grundon. Hand pass over the top for Gardner. Fended off one, Laura Gardner. Had a bounce, streaming through the centre of Blacktown International Sportspark. Can have a bounce, Sophia Hurley. Kicking inside 50. It'll be a foot race. Bailey leads the way. Gets the soccer on it. Needs to keep it in front of her. Gets it out of midair. Excellent goal from Brooke Bailey. The Swans go coast to coast. Brooke Bailey gets a goal in her second game of VFLW. 2 goals last week on her VFLW debut. from the East Coast Eagles, also out in the northwest of Sydney, not too far from here in Blacktown. So 4 goals on the board for the Sydney Swans. 2 for Cynthia Hamilton, 1 for Giselle Davies, and 1 for Brooke Bailey. They lead 4 goals straight, 24. Casey just the one behind. Davies wins the hit out. Lynn wrapped up by Kennedy, and the umpire will ball it up in the centre of the ground once again. Jatzak winning the hit out this time. Lynn, Kirkwood taking in a tackle. That'll be holding the ball. The Swans are on top of everything, and Montana Ham is a big part of it. Winning that free kick. Short ball for Gardner, not 15. Kennedy. Kick looking for Grundon. Big pack of players around that, and the umpire will ball it up once again. Thrown up. Jatzak. McDonald back to Jatzak. Had to wait on it. Did Sophie Casey. Swans soccer it inside 50. Ham spins out of one, shrugs off another, gives the hand pass off. This would be a chance for a goal for Sarah Grundon. Appeals for touch off the boot, but it's a goal. Yet another goal for the Sydney Swans. They've got 5 on the board in this first quarter. Sarah Grundon with that one, taken with pick 16 in the 2023 draft. So a chance to make her AFLW debut later this season, or in the AFLW season rather. From the Calder Cannons. A dominant start for the Sydney Swans here. 5 goals in the quarter. Davies following up with some ruck work. Lynn didn't quite get hold of it for Casey. Shepherd emerges with it for Sydney. Hand pass to Sergeant Wilson. Grundon on the end of a heavy bump, but she got straight back up and into the contest, the goal kicker. Mitchell. Umpire will have that one. Wind starting to pick up here in Blacktown. Shepherds. Kennedy. Shoveled a hand pass out to Gardner, who's wrapped up straight away, Laura Gardner. 34 disposals last week for Gardner. 47 the week before. She's in a strong run of form. There's Shepherds. And pass out the back. Sergeant Wilson taking in a strong Sammy Johnson tackle, and that'll be holding the ball. A chance for Casey to get one here. They can get a kick inside 50. Sammy Johnson. Just over the head of O'Neill. Williams got hands to it. The ball spills loose, but it's all Swans around it. And they'll get the clearing kick. Malloy is the target on the wing. She's got Fairchild to beat. Needs it to sit. Eventually she gets it. It's great bump laid by Brooke Bailey to give Malloy the space. Kick looking for Cynthia Hamilton. It'll bounce in favour of Bella Smith instead. Hamilton's run towards the goal square. So's Monty Beraldson. They've got another, the Swans. They are absolutely dominant. Montana Beraldson has her first. The Swans have got 6. 6 in the first quarter. They lead 6 straight, 36. Casey Demon's just the one behind. And Montana Beraldson's 6 AFLW games to her name was really good last week at Henson Park against North Melbourne. 1 goal and 17 disposals. Looked super lively as that small forward, and she's got this pace, Montana Beraldson, that so few opponents can keep up with. Like 20 of the 21 players out there for the Swans today are AFLW listed. There's a lot of talent And we're seeing it in the performance so far. Gillard's kick didn't go very far. Gardner collected it. The Swans have got numbers running through the middle. Tanya Kennedy brushed off a tackle. Kick long, needs a bounce, doesn't get it. And the Swans have finally got their first behind of the day. 6-1-37. The leading disposal winners on the ground. Montana Ham has 8. Laura Gardner with 7. So that ball goes out of play. We'll have a throw in. And just wind starting to pick up here. It does appear to be favouring the left of screen here at Blacktown International Sportspark. So perhaps that's something, at least for Casey, that they'll be kicking with the wind in the second quarter. Kennedy. Lexi Hamilton. Over the top. Now the ball spills loose. Gemma Proy at the bottom of that pack for Casey. A ball up at the top of the goal square for the Swans. O'Neill made her way back into the defensive 50, and that'll be holding the ball. Beat one tackle, and beating one tackle constitutes prior opportunity, so it'll be Montana Berylson lining up for her second goal in a row. Tough start for Casey in the opening minutes here. Montana Berylson has got 2 goals. The Swans have got 7. Dominant start for the Sydney Swans. Of course, of those players that Casey are missing today from last week, Alyssa Bannon, Sarah Lampard and Riley Wotherspoon, 2 of their best last week in that win over Port Melbourne. Alyssa Bannon kicking 2 goals, Sarah Lampard with 28 disposals, so missing that talent today as they rotate through their AFL listed talent through the VFLW season. Malloy. Hacked forward by Sophie Casey. Lynn. Hand pass to nobody in particular. Hamilton's there to follow up for the Swans. Ham gives to Sergeant Wilson. Malloy. Hand pass to Whelan inside 50. Couldn't quite hold on to the mark, Gillard. I'll have a stoppage at the top of the 50. So Davies and Gillard to go again. High contact free kick being paid. Advantage taken. Through for a minor score. The Sydney Swans 43-point leaders before quarter time. Gillard and Gore were the tall targets. Gillard won the free kick. Plays on. Up the wing looking for Gall. And contest. Woodward. Now Weatherhead's getting involved. It's a nice intercepting mark from Tyler Byrne. Had 25 disposals last week, the youngster, including 19 kicks. Short ball for O'Neill. Can go backwards, and she does. That won't be 15. And Madigan kick long and high. Almost. Tegan Williams couldn't quite hold it on. The Swans have got the numbers, perhaps a chance for a late one. Ham to Bailey and then Gardner. Dangerous little kick looking for Vale, but the bounce is going to be nice for her, and you can see that wind just helping the ball move to the left of screen. Berylson Back for Gardner. This is great play from the Sydney Swans. And Giselle Davies is on the end of it. She'll take the shot and have the final kick of the first quarter. That's good play from the Sydney Swans. They've got a lot of class in that midfield. Names like Ham and Gardner, Chloe Malloy getting involved too. It is tough to stop. Now, Cynthia Hamilton has 2 first quarter goals. Montana Berylson has 2 first quarter goals. And Giselle Davies has 2 first quarter goals. The Sydney Swans, a dominant first quarter. They raised the bat. Dominant display, but Casey are kicking with the wind in this second quarter, so perhaps they'll get a little bit more, can put something on the scoreboard. Now underway, Gillard's hit out. Morris was in pursuit, but Whelan intercepts for the Swans. They can't make much of it though. Kirkwood and now McDonald for Casey. Ball still in the centre square. Gardner going backwards and not a good hand pass. Intercepted and now a chance for Casey. Gillard will tumble the kick inside 50. The tools are there. It goes over their heads. Gall is there for Casey. Hilliard for the Swans. Does it nicely. Kicking, looking for Grundon. Good body work against Sammy Johnson. Outnumbered was Johnson, and the Swans did it nicely. Grundon spinning out of trouble magnificently, but here's where Casey have the numbers. Swans had the numbers at the contest, but Casey had the numbers at the next kick. So Talia Gillard. Take Casey inside 50. Deep kick. Can they get a foot on this out the back? McCarthy trying to rush it through and does it. Did it well, Paris McCarthy. So a point for the Demons. They double their score. So Ella heads to bring the Swans back into play. Opts for the far side. Bella Smith the target. I think that was touched out of play, so we'll have a throw-in. So we mentioned in the first quarter, 20 out of the 21 AFLW listed for the Swans. Brooke Bailey the only exception and kicked a goal in the first quarter. Just the 5 AFLW listed players out there for the Ds. So a big disparity there and a big disparity on the scoreboard thus far. Kennedy, little toe poke was clever for Grundon. Spots something she likes out wide. Sophia Hurley. Call to play on. Gives to Sergeant Wilson. Now they've got some space here, the Swans. One more hand pass over the top and Cynthia Hamilton is in space. Runs to the top of the 50, just puts it into the path of Giselle Davies. That's a terrific kick from Cynthia Hamilton. Pinpoint. Giselle Davies did it nicely with the mark too. So Davies, the recruit from the Gold Coast Suns. She's got 3 goals in just over a quarter here, Giselle Davies. The Swans continue their dominance, even kicking against the slight breeze. They've got another one, 9-2-56. They lead Casey just the 2 behinds. Has been 2 dominant victories for the Swans in their VFLW stint so far. They beat North Melbourne last week by 89 points and beat the Bulldogs by 62 points the week before. Such a dominant display so far today. This has been better than either of those so far. Casey will need to show something, even just so it's not such a hammer blow to their percentage as they fight for the finals later on in the VFLW. So Sophie Casey's kick came off the side of the boot. Sammy Johnson following up, and there'll be a stoppage. 2 Johnsons out there for Casey, Sammy and Lily. 2 of their AFLW listed out there today. Kennedy. Ball spills loose. Lynn. There's Lily Johnson. Kirkwood. Hamilton laid some nice pressure and forced it to be a little bit of a scrappy hand pass to Fairchild, and Sydney eventually get the turnover, but Kennedy wrapped up in a Meg McDonald tackle straight away, and we'll have a stoppage in the centre of the grounds. Gillard, big hit out over the top, but straight down the throat of Gardner. Wide kick, and that's going to be turned over to O'Neill. Her hand pass just missed its target. Grundon had it knocked out of her hands. O'Neill beats a couple of tacklers. Kick inside 50, perhaps not to the advantage of her teammate. Alice Mitchell escapes defensive 50 for the Swans. Hurley and Grundon try to work it out. Hurley just left it behind, but got it to Grundon. And now in space, here's Bella Smith. That's nice defensive work by Casey and by Casey Phillips. Had to leave her opponent to affect that contest. Just the boundary umpire and the umpire have a meeting to discuss, and it is going to be a Casey kick. Natalia Gillard to take the kick. Plays on. Gets that extra little bit of meterage. Kick up the line, looking for Gall. Excellent smother from Alice Mitchell. Crowd loved that one here in Blacktown. 11 AFLW games to her name, Alice Mitchell. Played all but one last year after recovering from that ACL injury. So thrown in, flat throw in. Gillard got a hand to it. Here's Vale. Kennedy. Really good tackle laid by Tyler Byrne. Still the umpire allows them to play on. Eventually we'll have a stoppage. Gillard slapped it forwards and then toe poked it forward. Here's Morris back to Gillard. It's the kick inside 50. That's a great intercepting mark taken by Heads, and the Swans are off up the centre of the grounds. That's an excellent intercept marked from the Melbourne draftee, and that'll be 50. And Montana Beraldson giving up the 50 and gifting Casey a shot at goal, and perhaps their first goal. Be Delaney Madigan to take the shot for Casey. Taken with pick 55 in the 2023 draft, Delaney Madigan, one of the AFLW listed players out there for Casey. And Casey have their first. Finally on the scoreboard in a meaningful way, Casey. Delaney Madigan. Not a likely goal kicker, the defender. A 50-metre penalty gifting her the opportunity. Casey got there first. The Swans lead 9-2-56. Casey 1-2-8. Delaney Madigan and Gemma Rigoni, the two draftees out there for Casey, pick 29 and pick 55. Just one of the Swans draftees out there too in Sarah Grundon. Lara Hassiger and Holly Cooper, the other two Swans draftees, played last week, but rotated out this week. They're back underway again. Morris couldn't quite get a kick on it. Kennedy socketed it out to Ham and then got it back. Inside 50 now for the Swans. Malloy will leave this alone for Hamilton. Wide chip for Paige Shepherd. It gives to Ham. Ham will chip short. And Hamilton, whose mark started this chain, should be on a similar angle, but about 30 metres closer. Cynthia Hamilton for her third. Hamilton joins Giselle Davies with 3 goals. Casey, it was only a brief resistance for them. Normal service has resumed. The Sydney Swans 10-2-62. Casey 1-2-8. So Hamilton with 3, matching her effort from last week. She's got 10 goals in her 21 AFLW games. Of course, that first season for the Swans was tough without a single win. Last year, much better effort making the finals and even winning one. Much easier to get on the scoreboard. So back underway once again. Jatsak just plucked it out of the ruck and then took the kick forward. Did it all herself. Neve O'Neill, it's Route 1 footy that. Claim it out of the ruck. Kick it forward to the leading tall. Neve O'Neill, 2 goals last week. She'll kick from just inside the 50-metre arc, Neve O'Neill. Right to the goal line. Not quite enough distance. Shearer, no. Swans players calling for the touch, and it was touched. Just Montana Ham getting the touch on it, so it'll be a minor score. Here come the Swans again. Up the near side, looking for Lexi Hamilton, but Jatsak was too tall. And Casey will go again. Inside 50. O'Neill and McDonald probably got in each other's way. Up the wing now. Ball just eludes Bailey. Gardner laid a good tackle, but just held on a little too long. It'll be a Casey free kick. Croy. Up the line, not her best effort. Dangerous kick from Bella Smith. Big contest in the middle of the ground, and the umpire will ball it up. Malloy. Sophie Casey in pursuit for the Demons. Got the hand pass out. And up the line the Swans go. Paige Shepherd's kick, looking for Cynthia Hamilton. There's Lily Johnson there for Casey. Davies intercepted the hand pass that was looking for Morris. Hamilton, inside 50 she goes. Smith trapped it, but couldn't get possession. Davies involved for Sydney. Beraldson comes away with it. Bailey just gave away the free kick, holding the man. Kirkwood. Take the kick for the D's. To the centre of the ground. Jatsak the target. She went to grounds. And the ball just landed in the lap of Gardner. Hurley's kick inside 50, looking for Bella Smith, and she takes the mark. Thought about playing on Bella Smith, but she'll go back and take her kick. Hamilton just dropped the mark. Would have been a chance at number 4. Fairchild just kicks it up the guts. Davies tried to trap it. Lynn up the centre, and perhaps a chance now for Casey. Mitchell kicks long to a one-on-one. Sheeran and McCarthy. A 0-0 draw there. Sergeant Wilson got back to help, and the Swans have the numbers. Malloy. Grundon's in some space on the wing. And then they've got some numbers out wide. Hurley. Just off the bench is Rigoni, and affects that nicely. Beraldson. Just got rid of her, Montana Beraldson. Inside 50 now for the Swans. Not a great kick. Nice defensive work again by Delaney Madigan. Having a good game, Delaney Madigan. Got the Dean's only goal. But her defensive work has probably been what's more impressive. Johnson looking for Morris. Hamilton was able to force the spoil. Fairchild. Hand pass out for Rigoni. Just gave it straight to Smith. And there's Hamilton. Sees something she likes in the corridor, and it's Laura Gardner. Racking up the touches once again, Laura Gardner. Goes for a short chip this time. And Hurley will have the shot on goal for the Swans. Laura Gardner, unsurprisingly, the leading disposal winner on the ground, and 19 disposals already. Montana Ham next best with 12. Sophia Hurley doesn't have the legs on the kick. Rigoni will try and clean things up and just disguise putting that one out of play. 5 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Sydney Swans, the big leaders, but Casey have been better in this quarter than they were in the first quarter. It's only 2-1 in this quarter. The first quarter was 8-0. So over the head of both rucks, Shepherd taken in a tackle straight away, and we'll have another stoppage. There they go once again. Shepherd lays the tackle on McDonald, perhaps high, but the umpire did see it, in fact. McDonald's goes wide. Got the numbers here, Casey, but just spilled the mark, did Kirkwood. Still should be able to clean it up. Johnson's kick intercepted by Lexi Hamilton. Now Bella Smith is on her own inside forward 50 at the moment. Hillier pumps it long in the direction of Smith. Casey had the numbers. Bailey with the crumb. Ham, Hurley, Kennedy. She'll kick towards goal, and there's the player in space. And it is Bella Smith. Thought about the hand pass over the top. Bella Smith will line up for another goal. Was one of the dominant players on the ground last week, Bella Smith. 3 goals and 17 disposals in the Swans' big win over North Melbourne. And Bella Smith has her first of the afternoon. So a goal for Smith. One of the Swans' most important players at AFLW level. 31 AFLW games to her name. 10 of those, of course, for Collingwood. There is definitely a breeze favouring the left of screen. Swans have still managed to win this quarter, kicking into it. (11-2), 68. The Swans' big leaders over Casey, 139. Lynn wins the clearance for Casey. Inside 50 they go. You see that kick went a little bit longer with the benefit of the wind. Williams and Gall there for Casey. Kennedy can get clean possession for Sydney. Sergeant Wilson just kicks to space, hoping her teammates will work it out from there. Ham and Grundon are there. Grundon lays a really nice tackle on Kirkwood. The umpire will have it. Hamilton lays the tackle on Sheeran. Still got the hand pass away. Malloy was able to intercept, and she has a bounce, Malloy. Still got some space in front of her. Could have had another. Instead, found a teammate with an option she liked in Vale. Kick for Hillier. Just slowed this play now, Sydney, after it looked to be going at neck break speed with Malloy. Vale. Woodward. Not a great kick, and it'll be turned over. Sophie Casey. Long kick. Mitchell for the Swans. Finds Woodward. Not a great kick, just held up in the breeze. There's Sammy Johnson for Casey. That breeze just picking up, affecting all the kicks at the moment. You'll see it here. This kick just swings to the left. Malloy did it well to keep it in front. Hurley eventually got the hand pass away, but too late. Or in fact, a throw. The Casey free kick into the final minute of this second term. Johnson Wide for Rigoni. She'll go short for Sammy Johnson. It's Jolynn just limping off the ground at the moment. We'll keep an eye on that as Gall takes the mark inside 50. With the breeze at her back, might be enough for this kick. And Georgia Gall, one of the 5 AFLW listed players out there for Casey, kicked a goal last week in the win. With the breeze at her back, Georgia Gall. The umpires are going to have a conference. No, it is a goal. That's something for Casey fans to get excited about going into half-time. As Casey just with the 2 goals as a team. So we are underway for the second half. Gillard wins the first hit out. Gardner is there for the Swans as usual. Sheeran got the hand pass to McDonald. Her kick only as far as Ella heads. Woodward up the line, looking for Beraldson. She takes off, Montana Beraldson. No one's going to catch her. Hand pass over the top. Little slap forward from Grundon. Didn't work out as intended. McDonald. Morris's kick was smothered. Gardner. Now a chance for the Swans. Whelan will kick him inside 50. And a good mark taken by Bella Smith. That's a nice play from the Sydney Swans to work that down the wing and inside the forward 50. Bella Smith will line up for her second. Eight touches to her name, Bella Smith. Misses to the near sides. And Madigan to bring the ball back into play for Casey. Gall was the target. Now through Gillards. Thumps the ball forward. Mitchell's in the contest for the Swans. Did well to stop Jatak taking the mark. Sheeran taken in a tackle by Woodward. And the umpire will ball it up. Lana Woodward inclusion this week. 25 AFLW games to her name. So this part of her AFLW preparation. Malloy. Taking in a tackle, but still got the kick away, Chloe Malloy. A dangerous tackle. Ball will come back to Chloe Malloy for a free kick. She'll have to come across all the way back on her line. Malloy, second in the Swans' best and fairest last season. Career high 18 goals in the All-Australian year. Long kick over the head of everyone, just on that breeze that's still favouring the left of screen. Rigoni got a hand pass away. Montana Ham is there. 2 Demons, but still got a hand pass to Beraldson. Spun out of 1 tackle. Hand pass looking for Hamilton. Another hand pass, but perhaps she could have had a shot on goal. Smith's kick was smothered. Beraldson is there again for Sydney. Umpire is circling. The ball spills loose. He'll kick out of the pack. Gardner. Whelan. Perhaps bumped after she kicked it, and we will have a couple of remonstrations, but it will be a downfield free kick for the Sydney Swans. Be going the way of Sophia Hurley. Sophia Hurley yet to miss an AFLW game for the Swans. 4th in the best and fairest last AFLW season, and she's got her first goal of the afternoon. The Swans first of this third quarter. They extend their lead 12-3-75, lead up to 60 points. 10 goals and even 10 goals. Casey 2-3-15. See, Jolynn is just going to make her way back onto the field. So she limped off at the end of the second half. Now got some serious strapping on that right calf. But she is all good to go, Jolynn. Delisted from Collingwood AFLW at the end of the AFLW season. 21 games in 3 seasons for the Pies. It has been good at VFLW level thus far. 22 disposals last week. Thrown up. Gardner there for the Swans, but wrapped up straight away, and we'll have another stoppage. Just trying to think, the umpire couldn't find the ball for a second there. Hamilton slaps it forward for McDonald, who's wrapped up again straight away. Thrown up again for another stoppage. Gardner. Gillard. Whelan. Malloy. Nice hand pass for Hamilton and gets it back, Chloe Malloy. Gets rid of the would-be tackler. Inside 50 goes Chloe Malloy. Long kick for goal. What a brilliant goal from Chloe Malloy. Started in the centre circle. She is a touch of class, Chloe Malloy. That's her first of the day. And another for the Swans. Two goals and 19 disposals last week for Chloe Malloy. Well on her way to repeating a game like that. Malloy, 10 disposals and 1 goal thus far. But probably the best of the Swans' 13 goals yet. Really accurate display from the Sydney Swans. 13 goals, 3 behinds. Casey, same number of behinds, just the 2 goals. And back to the centre. Lynn and Kennedy in pursuit. Johnson gets there first for Casey. Vale was the first one to get clean possession. Gives to Gardner. Her kick looking for Berylson. Sergeant Wilson's hand pass. Finds Gardner. Gives to Hamilton, who goes back to Gardner. Kicks straight into McDonald, but we'll get another chance. Gardner racking up the possessions once again. Here's Ruby Sergeant Wilson, one of the inclusions this week. Inside 50, looking for Lexi Hamilton. Spills to Smith. She can't gather it cleanly. Johnson. Burns there for Casey. Sergeant Wilson caught holding the ball, so a chance goes begging for the Swans. Up the line from Casey. Gall got to the contest late. Now Montana Berylson does well. Inside 50. Malloy's the target. Couldn't hold on to the one-hander. Still she keeps going, Chloe Malloy. She's 2-on-1 now. Lays a tackle, sort of both her and the D. Casey Phillips, Gemma Proy it was, sort of tackling each other. Both had one hand on the ball. The umpire ball it up. There's Johnson. Up the line. Gall. Heads. Gets the 1-2 from Gardner. Inside 50, looking for Bella Smith. Tried to hand pass to Grundon, running past it. Falls for Sergeant Wilson, who has the shot on goal. Ruby Sergeant Wilson. Not a noted goal kicker. And out on the full it will be. Yeah, Casey free kick, but there is no Casey player there to take it. We Shree Fairchild, who's had to run from the top of the 50 to take this free kick. No one knows where the footy is. Casey's VFLW best and fairest last year, Shree Fairchild. Brings the ball back into play. Long kick up the line. Gall is the target. Heads flew high from the back. Johnson got the crumb. McDonald slapped it forward. Jatzak and O'Neill were there. Jatzak, the main target. Here's O'Neill running back with the flight. McCarthy. Now, O'Neill did well enough to prevent McCarthy from taking the mark. Sydney have the numbers and should be able to deal with it. Hillier, not a great hand pass. Lots of players around this stoppage, and a ball up is a good result for Casey, seeing as Sydney had all the numbers early in that play. And Gillard over the top. Tap to O'Neill. Had prior opportunity, and that'll be holding the ball. Davies. Out for Eliza Vale. Wanted the free kick, Vale, didn't get it. Here's Kennedy. Taking in a tackle. Tanya Kennedy, one of the Swans' best. Kicking a goal last week. 6th in the Swans' best and fairest in the AFLW season. So here's Gardner. Lynn tries to pick off a hand pass. Be out of play. Lynn and Paige Shepherd's doing battle. So thrown back in. Davies in the ruck along with Williams. Goes over everyone's head. Burns kick, not a great one. That's a generous 15 metres from the umpire. Tanya Kennedy paid the mark. Long kick on the breeze. Big gust. Here's Malloy. Got the hand pass to Kennedy, who kicked it to her. Looking for Bailey. Rigoni running back with it for Casey. Bailey applying the pressure. Lays the tackle, Brooke Bailey. It's well done from Bailey. Forces the stoppage. The wind just picking up here. It is favouring the Swans at the moment. Favouring the left of screen. Have another stoppage. Davies wins the hit out this time. Off hands there. In fact, deliberate out of bounds has been played. So it'll be a Sydney free kick. Going the way of Paige Shepherd's. 18 disposals last week for Shepherd's. Inside 50, not a great kick. Falls in the lap of Gemma Rigoni. Gemma Rigoni and Delaney Madigan, the two draftees in action today for Casey, have been two of the bright spots. D's fans, especially Melbourne Demons fans, will like what they've seen from those two. Chip for Sophie Casey, delisted from Collingwood AFLW after being a Collingwood Foundation player, 63 AFLW games and 8 seasons of experience to her name, adding plenty of experience to this Casey lineup. Eliza Vale perhaps copped one higher, heavy bump, but she's okay to continue. Heads, Bailey, now Shepherd's. Just a wall of Demons players that they needed to go over the top of. Eventually got the ball to Vale, who hooked one round, looking for Hamilton. Here's Beraldson, she's so hard to tackle. Shepherd's, kick forward, and that's perfect. Works out very nicely, and Bella Smith will line up for her second from directly in front. Now, 3 goals last week for Bella Smith. Up to 2 goals today. She's got her second. Bella Smith and Montana Beraldson, the two with 2 goals for the Swans. Cynthia Hamilton and Giselle Davies with 3 each. Brooke Bailey, Sarah Grundon, Sophia Hurley and Chloe Malloy, the goal kickers for Sydney. For Casey, Georgia Gall and Delaney Madigan, the 2 goal kickers there. The Swans closing in on 3 figures. 14-3, 87. Lead Casey 2-3-15. Hacked out of midair for Casey. Towards the forward 50. Woodward running back for the Swans. Williams made her presence known. Slapped forward by McCarthy. Ham, great body work. Got the hand pass away. Shepherd did it really nicely, did Shepherd. Perhaps got a free kick, did Hillier, and she did. They'll go quickly, the Swans. Sophia Hurley's in some space on the far wing. Up for Smith. Would be a tough shot at goal from the tough angle for Bella Smith. Just misses to the near side. Would have been her third. Tough kick for the left footer. So 14 minutes gone here in this third quarter. Swans been dominant so far. That first quarter was 8 goals. Casey have pulled it back somewhat since then. So 6 goals to 2 since quarter time. Swans got all the numbers again. Hurley will take them back inside 50. Smith running back with it. Keeps it in the field of play and chip for Hamilton. Fairchild did well. Malloy is there, always dangerous around goal, Chloe Malloy. Bailey. Hand pass for Shepherd. Here's Beraldson. Loves a goal from a tight angle, Beraldson. Just to the near side. Olivia Morris just limping a little for Casey. That kick's just going to sit up in the breeze. It's almost going to land on the head of the players that thought they were crumbing the pack. That breeze very much advantaging the side kicking to the left of screen, which is the Sydney Swans in the third quarter. Mitchell thumps it forwards, and that'll carry on the wind. She had enough with that breeze. She could have had a shot for goal. A few players will need to learn with this breeze that the kick is going to go further than they can normally kick it, and they can have a shot from further out, and equally the other way. They need to be aiming for shorter targets than what they normally would when kicking to the right of screen. As the umpire throws the ball in against the breeze. Here's Ham in pursuit from the tight angle. Montana Ham, what a goal! She's a class player, Montana Ham, and that is a classy goal. Did it all herself, roving the stoppage out to the boundary line and snapping it through. Another goal for the Sydney Swans. They extend their lead up to 80 points. 15-5 and 95, the Swans. Casey 2-3-15. Montana Ham has her first. Missed a couple of shots on goal last week after kicking 5 the week before. She's in sparkling form. 21 disposals last week. 5 goals and 20 disposals 2 weeks ago. She's already kicked a goal today and up to 16 touches. Former number 1 draft pick. They've got some talent out there, the Sydney Swans. Now, Gillard won the hit out, but went straight to Hurley. Here's Gardner. Wasn't as clean as she normally is on that occasion. Kirkwood. Backwards to Phillips. Wide kick. McCarthy is there with Dana Smith. Swans force the turnover. Ruby Sargent-Wilson's in some space. Got a hand pass option in Hillier. Deep inside 50, the entry. Malloy had a few grabs at it, couldn't hold on. Bailey. Davies. Rigoni taking in a tackle, and there'll be a ball up. And Malloy trying to rove this pack. Have another stoppage, and she'll go again, Chloe Malloy. She's running to the right of the pack. Hit out went the other way this time. And that's a dangerous tackle. So a free kick going the way of Casey. And Gemma Proy. Long kick, and that's a good mark. Taken by Georgia Gall. Needed a few more of those big clunks today, Casey, just to relieve the pressure. Dangerous kick into the centre of the ground, and now a chance for the Swans. Ella Heads, kick to the top of the goal square. Smith is in pursuit. We'll be happy to rush that through Casey Phillips, and did it in a composed manner. That's very nicely done. A short kick for Lily Johnson, one of the AFLW listed players out there for Casey. Goes to the other Johnson in Sammy. It's delisted from Melbourne's AFLW in the off-season after playing 3 games last year. Trying to earn her way back onto the list. So Vale, Hillier and Heads are there. They work it out. Whelan. Now Gardner. Kick backwards, but they got some players in some space. In the centre square do the Swans. Sergeant Wilson pops it up. It'll go over the head of Davies and fall into the lap of Gillard. Just read that one better. Talia Gillard. Knew that the breeze was going to carry it that little bit further. Dangerous kick, but it'll work out. Kirkwood. That's a short kick, and that one won't work out. Over the boundary line. We'll have a throw-in. Now into the final minute of this third quarter, the Swans with a thumping big lead here at Blacktown International Sportspark. A chance to add to it late on if they can get a clearance from this stoppage. Whelan in pursuit. Kirkwood gets there first for Casey. Hamilton follows up the rock work, and Montana Ham is somehow in space at a stoppage. Malloy and Fairchild. Malloy keeps it in, follows it up. Fairchild. Lots of players around that pack. And the siren will beat everyone. That is three-quarter time here at Blacktown International Sportspark. It is a huge lead for the Sydney Swans. 15-6 Ox Hill Hawks. Casey playing St Kilda at Trevor Barker Beach Oval. So one quarter to play here in Blacktown. McDonald on the bottom of the pack for the D's, and she'll win the free kick. Kicks out to the wing. Kirkwood there for her. Inside 50 now. Just through the hands of Gillard. Gall. Williams. Wrapped up by multiple Swans tacklers. It's getting a little bit chilly here in Blacktown. Certainly colder than you would expect for mid-April out in the west of Sydney, where it's normally much hotter than the eastern suburbs. Very much in Giants heartland today for this VFLW clash out in Blacktown International Sportspark. And Hamilton and Gillard to do battle in the ruck once again. Gardner wrapped up by Sheeran straight away. We'll have another stoppage. Hamilton slaps it forward, but there's only D's to meet it. Free kick there, pushing the back, begun the way of Casey. McDonald had plenty of the footy today, Meg McDonald, one of the Demons' better players. Just been touched by Alice Mitchell, and that has just clipped the behind post, so will be a boundary throw-in. I can feel the players are thinking this is going to be a kick-in. Williams wins the hit out, looking for Lynn. Gardner shoveled it out. Hamilton tried to tap it into the path of Hilliard. Lynn. O'Neill. Facing away from goal. It might bounce through. Touched. Touched, the goal umpire says. The umpires are going to have a conference. We wait with bated breath. And it is all clear, one behind. Must have been touched off the boot. I don't think anyone touched it in the goal square. And Neve O'Neill denied a goal. Woodward's kick is picked off. So Casey started this fourth quarter well. Inside looking for Williams. Great spoil over the top from Mitchell. Gardner. Hand pass for Ham. Hamilton, and gets it back from Ham. They've had a lot of these 1-2 hand passes today, and they've worked very well for the Swans. They'll get another one here. Ham gets another possession in the chain. Over the top for Beraldson. Ruby Sargent Wilson, Kennedy, Beraldson could have given it back to Ham. Beraldson, but was caught holding the ball. That's a great tackle from Meg McDonald. It's a good piece of play from the Swans. They took it all the way from defensive 50, nearly to their forward 50 without a kick. Just in hand passes, but it fell over at the last opportunity. This kick will just keep on going with the breeze. Hillier. Woodward. Shoveled the hand pass out to Gardner. Racking up A lot of touches once again, Laura Gardner. McCarthy. Go back to Woodward. And McCarthy gets it again. Kick looking for Gardner. Not a whole lot to go to. Opts for the short kick for Smith. So he goes longer this time. Hamilton just spilled it. Kirkwood. Gillard's kick was smothered. Chance for Sydney here. Gardner. Took on a couple of tacklers, and you don't see Laura Gardner get caught holding the ball very often. It's nicely done by Casey and by Kirkwood. Now Kirkwood called to play on. Pumps it long up the line. Williams was the target. Shepherd's kick is a high one, but it's going to work out. Eliza Vale taking the mark. Dangerous kick up the corridor, but it works out perfectly for Gardner. Gives the hand pass back to Vale. Inside 50 go the Swans, looking for Davies. In fact, they'll go into the path of Bella Smith. Plays on. Montana Ham for number 2 for Ham. Gets it. Nicely done by Montana Ham and by the Sydney Swans. They add another. Montana Ham's got 2. So 7 goals in her last 3 games of footy, Montana Ham. And she's racked up the footy and the possessions in each one of them. Sydney up above the 100 now. Over the second week in a row, they pass 3 figures. 16-6, 102. Casey 2-4-16. Laura Gardner up to 33 touches. Montana Ham 22 disposals and 2 goals. Sophia Hurley with 17. Tanya Kennedy with 17. Meg McDonald the best of Casey with 14. Fewer than half of what Laura Gardner's racked up. Kennedy. Didn't dispose of that one, Kennedy. Just let it go. And dropped it on the ground. That'll be 50 metres. That's silly. Got to know better than that at this level. So Shreve Fairchild plays on. Gives it to O'Neill on the left. A long one. Offline. A couple of behinds for Neve O'Neill in this quarter. Heads for the Swans. Wide for Gardner. She's just everywhere, Laura Gardner. Grundon. .45-degree kick into the corridor for Hillier. Plays on. Goes again into the corridor. Dangerous ball. Proy tried to take it off the Swans, but they work it out nicely. Grundon gives to Heads. Up the line. Malloy in a one-on-one. Waits for it to bounce. Got the hand pass option in Ham. Over the top for Hurley. Bailey's running past. Hurley didn't quite see her. Tried to beat the tackle and didn't. That'll be holding the ball. Excellent tackle. Led by Gemma Proy. Deserves that free kick. Didn't do her best with it, but Lily Johnson picks it up and runs away with it. Long kick. Perhaps a chance for Mitchell here and for Casey. But Woodward is too quick. Wins the race. Has the support there from Alice Mitchell. Great tackle from Zoe Mitchell, and that'll be holding the ball. Mitchell on Mitchell. Zoe wins out. Got the breeze at her back here, Zoe Mitchell. Still not enough on the kick. I think she would have made the distance if she had have gone back and done it properly. A few players just perhaps underestimating the breeze to the left of screen. The Swans. That's nicely done by Gardner. They're going to try and go up the corridor. It's risky play for Sydney, but they've got a few numbers there. Kennedy now joins the fight. Malloy's there too. Casey Here's Jatzak. That's some sort of a kick on it. It'll work for Johnson. Wide, and they're looking for something inside 50 now, Casey. Short chip for Gall, and she's paid the mark. Georgia Gall, one of Casey's 2 goal kickers today. Kicked a goal last week as well. 2 AFLW games to her name. One of the AFLW listed players out there for Casey. So we'll get some assistance from the breeze with this kick. Gall opens up the angle. Just not going to quite have enough. Davies did nicely to let that one go. Through for a minus score, Casey, 2-6-18. The Swans, 16-6, 102. Ruby Sargent-Wilson gets on the end of Alana Woodward's kick. Humps it up the line. Davies flew, couldn't get it. Vale. Swans have got numbers here. Bailey. Gardner, but there's no one for Gardner to kick it to. Has to go the hand pass instead. Smith will go backwards through traffic. Probably not a great idea. Jatzak, chance for Demons now. Here's Johnson. Georgia Gore with it now. Finds Dana Smith. Hand pass running past. Inside 50 they go now. Over the back of O'Neill. Zoe Mitchell's in pursuit, but the Swans and Ruby Sargent-Wilson will get there first. That won't stay in the field of play and will be thrown in. With the assistance of the breeze here, Casey, they'll want one to take home with them. It's a tough ask against this Swan side with so many AFLW listed players, 20 out of 21. Over the top, O'Neill. Got the hand pass, looking for Fairchild. Mitchell tackled straight away. Hamilton knocked it out of her hands. Vale. Kennedy. Her kick only as far as Casey Phillips. Pops it up to the top of the square for the D's. Williams got hands to it. Gall tried. The Swans through heads. Will try and clear defensive 50 for good. Great tackle laid by Tyler Byrne. And the hand pass directly out of play. And there's some afters here. Few players getting into it. Nothing too untoward at this stage. Eventually, the ball will be thrown in. I must say, I think the D's were unlucky not to get a free kick there for deliberate out of bounds. That hand pass just went straight out of play. We'll have a throw in. Vale does nicely. Grundon. Good tackle. The Swans have got the support there. Vale, she's racked up plenty of the footy in this last term. Gardner's kick for Hamilton, who's got some space on her opponent now, Cynthia Hamilton. Could have kept running, opted to kick instead, tried to put it in the path of Brooke Bailey. Bailey did well to get back to Hamilton. Sargent-Wilson and now Whelan. Hand pass over the top for Hurley. Wide looking for Beraldson. It sits up for her beautifully, and there's 2 Swans in acres of space, but she missed both. Intercepted now. The Swans will get another opportunity. Hillier. Inside 50 for Malloy. Now Chloe Malloy getting a lot of space on the lead there. Lining up for her second goal of the afternoon. This will be disposal number 13 for Chloe Malloy. Decides not to go for the kick. Centering pass to Hurley. So Hurley also racked up plenty of the ball. This will be disposal number 20 for Hurley. Only Montana Ham with 23 and Laura Gardner up to 37 have more than Hurley. Just out to the right-hand side. Minus score for Sophia Hurley. So that's not a great kick. Gave Bailey an opportunity. Kirkwood's there to give Casey Phillips some support. Here's Hurley again. Hand pass for Gardner to add a goal to her great work. Won't even add it behind. It's way out wide. Berylson tried to keep it in, but it'll be a boundary throw-in. A boundary throw-in inside the Swans forward 50. Malloy's going to do the ruck duties. Outsized against Gillard. All cleared all of them. Goes all the way outside of the 50. Gillard kicks it in the air. Little tap back looking for Malloy. Will work out. Kick for heads. That's a really nice kick from Malloy. Davies leads, and that's where the kick goes. Just falls short. Nice little tap down for Whelan. Keeps it in play. Little chip. Still a chance for the Swans. Whelan. Shepherd was there. Hamilton closing on Gillard. Gillard did it well. Kept it in front of her. And then got the clearing kick. Looking for Dana Smith. Nevo Neal's there to help as well. McCarthy for the Swans. Got it to Ham. She's so hard to tackle, Montana Ham. Hand pass for Hamilton. Now a chance for the Swans. They can go inside 50 through Ruby Sargent-Wilson. She opted to go shorter instead, not 15. So has to play on does Gardner. Inside 50 now for the Swans. Kick to the top of the goal square. Malloy's the target. She's got 3 demons to beat. Big collision. All fair there. Bailey snapped off one step. And over the line for a boundary throwing. That was a big collision. Courageous by both Malloy and Casey Phillips. Good to see they're both okay to continue. Davies taps it into the path of Malloy. Did she drag that in, Chloe Malloy? No, according to the umpire, we'll have a ball up. It's done well to stem the flow in this quarter, Casey. Have a repeat stoppage. Malloy, always dangerous lurking at these forward 50 stoppages. McDonald did it really nicely. Worked her way through. Madigan kicked the D's clear, looking for Jatzak. Mitchell. Shepherds. We'll have another stoppage in the centre square. 14 goals the difference. It's been a dominant Sydney Swans victory today. It's going to hurt Casey's percentage going forward this season. Hamilton got up and knocked it forward, looking for Hurley. Have a few. The ball spilled loose. The umpire was about to ball it up. And now we'll have a ball up. 2 minutes to go in the final quarter here. It will be a big Sydney Swans victory. Gillard knocked it forward. Kirkwoods have yet another stoppage. So 3 big wins for the Swans, and they crack the 100 points for the second week in a row. Kicking in dangerous. There'll be a Sydney free kick going the way of Gardner. She's on her way to racking up 40 touches once again, Laura Gardner. Inside 50, Hurley. Lily Johnson with the clearing kick. Ham collected it cleanly. Whelan. Bailey tried to evade Lynn's tackle and couldn't. Hamilton. Ham. Hamilton tried to just hack it out of me there. That was dangerous. And that'll be a Casey free kick to relieve some of the pressure. High kick. Jatzak. Sergeant Wilson socket it forward, but only as far as Lynn. Hacked it up high. Ham was there for the Swans. So too was Gardner. Heads. Hurley. We are up to 40 disposals for Laura Gardner. 40 disposals for Laura Gardner. Another outstanding effort from her. Might not be done yet. Here's Smith. Hurley will have a stoppage. And Laura Gardner, 34 disposals last week, 40 this week, and 47 2 weeks ago. I'm not good at maths, but that's a lot of disposals. It's over 100. Ham. Hurley. This is touched, so won't be a mark. Falls short of Bailey. Berylton was running past, looking for the quick hand pass. So into the final seconds here at Blacktown International Sportspark. Chance for a late Swans one. Hurley. Gillard. Hacked it clear of defensive 50. Heads, spilled the mark. Jatzak. Heads in pursuit. But there is the full-time siren. A huge win for the Sydney Swans. 16-7, 103. Plays Casey 2-6-18. That's 3 huge wins in a row for the Sydney Swans in this little stint in the VFLW campaign. Casey came